All right, Denver folks, this one's for you. If you love this city as much as I do, you've got to go over to realgooddenver.com. This is a newsletter, it's a podcast, it's a whole vibe. On the podcast, What's Good Denver, we dive into the things that make Denver, well, Denver. We're talking about restaurant recommendations, local founders, events, and just all around inspiring people that have helped shape the culture in Denver, Colorado. And if you're all about discovering hidden gems, big ideas, and the heartbeat that make Denver, Denver, this is the podcast and newsletter for you. Whether you're a lifelong local, like me, or new to the Denver area, this is your inside guide to all things Denver. So check out realgooddenver.com and listen to the podcast, subscribe to the newsletter. Trust me, it's everything you love about Denver in one place. That's realgooddenver.com. Now back to the show. What's good, Denver? I hope you're doing great. We got a special interview for you today. Today, we've got Allison Welch from As You Wish, your personal assistant, lifestyle coordinator, and concierge, and all-round Denver expert. Thanks for coming on the show, Allison.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, so I know you're a longtime Denver business owner. Give us a little synopsis of what you do and who you do it for.
Sure. We started As You Wish in this market in 2010. So this is our 15th year in business. And essentially we help out anyone who needs a little more time in their life. So anyone that's busy, meaning executives, families, individuals, athletes, anyone really that is just looking for an extra hand in their life. Our services are hourly a la carte. So anything under the personal assistant and event planning umbrella, meaning running those everyday errands, maybe organizing for you. You know, right now we're doing a lot of organizing going into the new year, taking down everyone's Christmas tree, getting all of that put away so you can get off, on the right foot for the year. And then, we do a lot of vehicle maintenance, picking up a client's car from their office or home and to go get the oil changed or putting snow tires on because they're going up to the mountains to go skiing. We work in the concierge space. So if you needed a fun date night or maybe a girls' night out, we can help, offer some suggestions of what to do around Denver. That would be super fun. So a little bit of everything. And then the party planning is really social events, meaning some corporate holiday parties, mitzvahs, grad parties, and day of weddings.
Cool. So event planning is a part of it as well?
It sure is. Yeah, we have a dedicated event planner that does all of our events for us. And it really goes hand in hand with our clients, Ryan. Once you're in the door, maybe you're dropping off groceries or organizing a pantry or helping someone relocate, and they want to now do a housewarming party. Or you're in there and it's their kiddo's birthday in 2 weeks and they haven't had time to get the invitations out. So we can quickly get the party bags together, invites, and contact our vendors that we know and love to help put on a party.
Very cool. Now, how did you recognize the need for this business? You've been in business 15 years. Obviously, it's very successful. And it sounds like you're starting to franchise nationwide, which I'd love to hear about as well. But in the beginning, what inspired the business?
Yeah. So really when I started it, my past life, I worked for an athlete, and he had a very large company. So did his events and some personal items for him. But then I worked for a lady in New York City before I moved here, and they had 3 homes to manage between East Hampton, Manhattan, and Aspen. So along with that came, the planes, trains, and automobiles and coordinating the vendors for all of these homes and making sure that their events were set up and, the beds were made when they had guests coming in town. So really that was my background was in, that event side, but also domestic households, making sure that they're run properly, that when they're out of town, like who's watching them and who's watering the plants and getting the mail. So those little things came up and it was full time and it was great experience. Still talk to the family I worked for, but not everyone needs a full-time assistant or can afford it. So this is really for anybody. We're hourly only. You do not have to sign a contract. You can call and say, I'm in a bind. I have my family coming in town and this place looks like a bomb went off. Can you help me get, the place together? Can you maybe get a private chef in for dinner one of the nights? Can you make reservations for us? Get us some abs tickets? Whatever the case may be, we really want to be that simple solution. So it's a one-stop shop and you can call us and feel like your stress is taken away.
That's so cool. And so the business model is based completely hourly. Do people buy like blocks of hours, or could I literally call you and be like, I need you for 1 hour?
Exactly. You can, we had
Wow.
someone, they were golfing the other day and they wanted cigars. So we picked up the cigars, dropped them off, and that definitely took under an hour. So, hey, we're here as you wish.
That's
But
amazing.
Yeah, and people do. They said, I'm gonna need a little bit more hours. I want you to put up the Christmas tree in November, take it down in January, and then wrap gifts in the middle there, or I don't know what to get my wife this season, whatnot. So everyone's really different. Then you start on helping plan for spring break and then getting into Easter, and we get all the stuff for Easter baskets and, all the things that are really taking the time out of you'd rather be skiing or hiking and biking here in Colorado and not at Costco or in the mall. So we can do that for you.
You were before your time. It's like the DoorDash for everything.
Right, right. Exactly.
That's amazing. So if
Yeah.
give me a ballpark of price. If I wanted to get one of your folks to kind of do as I wish for 8 hours, what's that going to run me?
Yeah, our hourly, we're a little bit different per market. In this market, we're between the $50 and $100 range. So it just depends on what services you need. And then we could fulfill those. And if someone has a budget, we have a single gentleman, he travels a lot for work and he has a budget of $300 a month, but it's getting those groceries every week, meal prepping for him every week, getting the dry clean dropped off, picking up his prescriptions, making sure there's gas in his car. That's all he needs. And it saves him so much time. So then he can put that money or that time back into his profession.
Yeah, very reasonable. I mean, I remember last time I used DoorDash, I got some Indian food for my family of 4, and I think the charge was $100 for DoorDash just for one meal. So
It's funny, we have a newer lifestyle coordinator, that's what we call ourselves, and she was with Instacart or one of the grocery, but she goes, "We are more reasonable than them now because they had so many fees on," which I didn't know. But we also, take it that step further where we actually put the groceries away or wash the
yeah.
fruit or cut up the veggies that you need to meal prep for your kiddos' school lunch so you're not doing it when you get home from work at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's amazing. What a cool business. Now tell me a little bit about the franchise aspect of it. What went into that? As far as actually from the structure of the business, is there special regulation you have to actually franchise a business?
There is, yes, of course. So we started working with a franchise attorney a couple years ago. You do a franchise disclosure document, which is really the legal binding partnership that you have with the other owners that are across the country. And we trademarked the name As You Wish as well in 2016. So you set that up, you give them our systems and, what it takes to really run the business, the logos, the brand kits, the marketing, social media, everything to run a business successfully. That's what you get when you own a franchise. And we started the process because we do a lot of relocations, a lot of moves. We work with a lot of realtors and a lot of our athletes, pro athletes here in Denver, a Bronco or, whatnot, we're getting traded. So when, you have to pick up and go sometimes. So we would pack them. We would, get their items shipped. We would transport the cars, the pets, and then transfer utilities and then meet them in the city they moved and unpack and organize and get them set up for success so they can go play their ball game. So we were doing this quite often and I was looking for other folks to help us in these other cities and I just couldn't find someone that was all encompassing. So, doing the reloads, the organizing and the stocking of the groceries and all the things together instead of hiring 10 different vendors, we're all in one. So it's been a lot of fun. And then we have clients, second homes up in the mountains to go open the mountain property before they get there, or they're in Palm Springs or Scottsdale and we can, so we were flying to different places doing these things. So now we can do it. Other folks can own it and do it on their own. So it's super fun. We're learning a lot.
It's amazing. So, as a business owner, if other business owners have considered doing franchising their business, they have a strong brand like you do. They've got the SOPs and everything.
Sure.
What percentage of your business revenue wise is from franchisees?
Yeah, so now we just started last year and sold our first 4. So we're
Yeah,
quite new in the franchise business. We're slated for 10 this year in 2025.
amazing.
So it depends. You get a 7% royalty back as a franchisor. But if anyone's looking to grow their, if they have a business set up here in Denver, I'm always happy to talk to anyone. I learned a lot. We have great franchise attorneys and brokers now that we, are familiar with. So it's a lot
Cool.
of fun. Yeah.
So, I don't want to put you on the hot seat, but can you tell us some of the notable names that you've worked with in Denver?
We do confidentiality is huge for us. So, probably not, but, you can imagine some of the, but, some of the folks that, they're They do a lot in Denver, but also, really our clients are just the everyday, we're busy, we have a family of 4 and we work and the kids go to school and we need a minute. So honestly, our clients really are just the everyday folks like myself.
Does it rhyme with Fakin Manning?
He's a neighbor of ours. That's all I got. That's all I got.
That's cool. We love Peyton and anything Peyton adjacent. Yeah, I can see how this would be, pretty much for everybody that needs an extra pair of hands, especially if you're in a pinch. So
Yeah,
I,
and even Ryan, if someone needs a vendor, we have so many clients or would-be clients or just someone that needs help. They're like, I need a new handyman. I need a new housekeeper. I need a new, snow removal company. My guy doesn't show up. So we really vet our vendors, for general contractors, everything under the sun. So if anyone needs anything, we're always happy to help out and share our knowledge.
That's so cool. That idea of a concierge.
Yeah.
I always feel, doing sales calls all week and meeting different people and different needs. I always feel it's like my favorite part of business to be able to connect one person to another. Like, hey, maybe
Love it.
I'm not the best fit for you, but this person is, and then you make the
Totally.
introduction. I love doing that. That's got to be very satisfying.
It's so much fun. It's my favorite thing to do. And the
Yeah.
networking, I mean, I have a 2-year-old now. It's a little bit different these days, but the networking is still really fun for me. And we are part of the Concierge Association of Colorado. So if someone's new to town or, like I said, wants those tickets that they can't get or a restaurant opening we try to go to and check it out, take photos, and obviously promote what's going on new here in the city. But just to be that personal concierge, if they call and say, can you get me a date night? And Valentine's Day is a month from today. So we're already starting to get some inquiries on what do I need to buy and what adventure can you send my wife and I on? So it's really fun.
Amazing. Okay, some recommendations here would be awesome. If I'm looking for date night with Mrs. Estes, what are like 3 or 4 places that you love to send people to?
Sure, sure. I mean, I like to see what part of town they like to go in. If it's downtown, we like to, even take the train downtown, go to Tavernetta outside, maybe get a cocktail at Sunday Vinyl next door after that. If you're in Cherry Creek North, we had a lot of folks like, I'm going shopping. Where do I go next? You can go to Forget Me Not, have a drink, and then maybe go to dinner at the Clayton Club. So Denver has so many options now for culinary. It's really great, but also, Bonanno Concept has been around. I mean, you just know you're not going to go wrong with places like that. Even we live a little further south. We love Undici is great Italian steakhouse 10. So it just depends on what they want. And even if it's like that overnight adventure to go to Evergreen for the night and, stay up there and do the winery and do a great hike or just to put together a night for them. That's super fun for us too.
Yeah, how about weekend getaways? What's like a great trip?
Exactly, and that's like, "Okay, I wanna go up to Vail for 2 nights, but I don't
Yeah.
ski." So, great. Do you wanna go snowshoeing? Or there's also a, performing arts center. So thinking outside of the box on some things. We just had, sent some folks to the Broadmoor for a 40th birthday, and we had a cigar roller there for them. They did a little rosé tasting. So, just thinking outside of the box, and we gave everyone a really cool, like, kit when they got there. So, we want something to be different and memorable. So that's what we really try to go for when we kind of gauge our clients.
I love it. As far as booking events or needs
Yeah.
and without naming names, what are some of the wildest requests you've had?
Oh, well, we had a fun one when I first started and as an attorney in Cherry Creek, and he was Jewish gentleman. He didn't have any kids, so no or bat mitzvahs, if you will, but he had a parakeet. So we did a chirp mitzvah party and we were all decked out and had about 50 guests and rented a venue for his bird. So you never know what people wanted to spend their money on, but we'll take it. It was fun for us. And, the favors were, bird seed. It was kind of funny.
50
So,
people showed up for the parakeet bar mitzvah?
yeah.
Wow.
Well, we had good food and drink. That's a good
Yeah,
deal. But it was funny. The gentleman had such a great sense of humor and like just went with all the ideas we presented to him. So it was cool.
that sounds like a great time. Anything else come to mind? Is there a task that you've had to say no to?
Um, we do get asked often to drop off kiddos at the carpool line at school or pick them up, which I know is a blast for all parents. But that liability we don't really do. And then, we sometimes get asked, we love to refer our vendors, like I said, but sometimes if it turns into being an HR company, we do have to draw the line and say, oh God, we're going to be out and about running around. We can't, interview 20 folks for your nanny or so, you know what I mean? So sometimes it just is a little out of the scope, and then we'll refer them to a nanny service or, whatnot. But we're
Yeah.
pretty transparent. Yeah.
You couldn't be like a barbarian and call you for the head of your enemies or something like that, obviously.
Exactly. No, what?
How about waiting in line for concert tickets?
Yeah, we work with a couple awesome brokers, actually.
Yeah.
So we really use that. I know when Taylor Swift was here, I think we were asked by a family out of Boulder to go do that.
Yeah.
To scalp the tickets. They did find them tickets on their own. They brought cash. They did, we gave them some tips, but other than that, you know, they handled it.
Yeah. It's so cool. Nice. Are you from Denver, Allison?
I'm from upstate New York
When did you
originally.
when did you come to Denver?
I came here when I was working for the family in Aspen, and I would just fell in love, and I was like, this place is magical. So decided to stay and make Denver home.
Yeah. As for you, if you're scheduling your own fun things to do, what do you like to do? What are the
Yeah.
places you like to go to?
Oh, sure. I love to, if I can get in an early morning yoga class before kiddo gets up, that's always amazing. We're on the High Line, kind of path, over here just to do like a great hike. But then, going out, I love to go, even up to Golden, go to Golden often, just sit by the water there and, have a beer, whatnot. Um, like I said, the foothills, Evergreen, Morrison, they're just so fun to just do a quick hike and be able to come back in the same day, even if you do have other things going on. But yeah, try to stay local and, support local. And not, honestly, in the summer and to do the pop-ups and the excuse me, just any festivals that are going on just to see, there's always something going on. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I
Mm.
love that waterway there in Golden. It's great.
What?
You see
So much
the
fun.
so much
Tubing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Those
it's great.
animals in the kayaks, like, going under the water and stuff. Yeah.
I know.
I used to go up there and catch little brookies with my kids. When they were real little, we do a little fishing
What?
right there. Great
Oh,
spots.
it's awesome, and they're just building more and more, restaurants and, places for folks to go, so it's awesome.
Yeah. You there's
Ooh.
such it's almost sky's the limit of, how you can help your customers out. What are some of your favorite things to plan for your clients?
I would say we love, the holiday season. Like as soon as the kids are back in school, the clients are like, what do we, how do we set up our yard and the home to look like Halloween and, really get after the holiday season and what can we do for the kids in the neighborhood, whatnot, or what can the kids bring to school? Along the lines of the holidays. And then we did a lot of Friendsgiving parties last year. That was super cool to see our clients just relaxing and having fun with their friends. And then, the Christmas, like the wrapping and that is just it's still really fun because 'cause you're in the spirit, but you also see how busy these families are so just to take a little bit off their to-do list is really great. And this year we did a lot of, just, clients would say, "Well, the kids are all here and they're off of school for" we had like 2.5 weeks off. And, what do they do? So it was like created like wreath making for the kids and making gingerbread houses and making pizzas on their own. So just thinking out of the box, like what can we do if it's really cold to keep them, attentive inside and doing activities and not in front of a screen. So I think we enjoy doing things like that, just more, family oriented.
Yeah, the Halloween decorations, that's a real Denver thing. Denver goes hard for Halloween.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and those huge ones this year, like we have our handyman help us and they're like 30 feet, like some of
Yeah,
them.
30-foot skeletons.
And you
Uh,
drive by and you're like, "Oh my god, this is insane," but they're great, people love 'em.
they're amazing.
Well,
Well, and especially for kids, because it sounds like you're doing really hands-on stuff. My
yeah,
daughter, she's in high school and she's a babysitter, and a lot of times what she's hearing from her clients is they're like, "We don't want the kid to have screen time." And she just kinda
yeah.
looks at him with this look of incredulity or incredulousness, where
Yes.
she's like, come on, man. What am I supposed to do here? I'm the babysitter, give them the iPad and let's eat cookies. But for parents that are like wanting to do something extra where there's like, okay, no, let's do a cool event, something that gets kids off screens, but it's not necessarily responsible for putting them to bed. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and
Yeah.
even now, it's like, in Denver too, like, the camp scene, when the kids are off for the summer, it's like, get them into one camp, get them in the next camp, get them in the next camp. So we're helping our clients get their kids set up for summer now. So it's fun, but there's all sorts of, like, kids cooking classes and how to learn to ride a bike, and, like, there's so many out of the box things these days, it's really fun.
Very cool. I love it.
What?
As you wish, franchise.com is where people can find you. Is there another way that people can get in contact with you, Allison?
Yeah, our other website is asyouwishlifestyle.com, and that shows the cities that we're in, but yeah, there's a form fill there, and then we're on Instagram, As You Wish Lifestyle. But yeah, I'd love to help you out.
Asyouwishlifestyle.com. Amazing. Well, this has been awesome. Is there anything that I should have asked you but didn't?
Think you got it all. I love it. It's really fun to talk to you, and thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I really appreciate it. Thanks, Allison.
Of course.
All right, let me ask you, when was the last time you really relaxed? And I mean like fully check out, mind and body, and just chilled out. If you're drawing a blank, it's time to check out SamanaFloat.com. Samana is this incredible float studio right here in Denver. You step into a private pod with warm, silky water and just let the stress slip away. No distractions, no deadlines. You just float effortlessly in total peace. It's like a vacation for your mind. And here's the thing, it's not just about relaxation. Floating can help you with recovery, focus, even creativity. Whether you're an athlete or an entrepreneur or just somebody who needs to slow down, that's basically all of us. Check out SamanaFloat.com for their Denver and Fort Collins locations. Book your first session. Seriously, you will thank me. Check out SamanaFloat.com. You'll float out feeling like a new person. Now back to the show.